have to watch it.
Here. Okay. All right. I'm just saying. I guess this is why we learn Musar, because if you told me a gadol went back to get back these pachim ketanim, I would say that's if you tell Stam not a gadol, if somebody said I'm going back to get the pachim ketanim, I would say that's a little crazy. Just stay with your family.
He had his bottle deposits. He wanted his bottle deposits.
Well, that would be pachim ketanim. That would be. That's
how many
point,
hotels?
right?
How many hotels did you leave pizza makers in?
Correct. Right.
Parents, isn't there a story of somebody that collected these bottles and was able to write a Sefer Torah from all the bottles he collected?
That's what they just did it Sunday. The Mahmoud Sefer was on Sunday. Yeah. He's officially on this
Pachim Ketana.
Yep.
He was able to write a Sefer Torah. So now everybody's right with their Torah.
Yeah.
That's right. He was writing a Sefer Torah the whole time.
Yeah, Moshe Amzel, he used to come to us in the share.
Yeah, he comes sometimes. Yeah. That's very nice. Anyways, okay. On that note of not understanding.
Do I know what Yaakov spoke at the event? I can tell you over word for word.
You could say over one word, okay?
One second, I'm telling you,
disruptors.
Yeah, let's let him stand up to the challenge. Go ahead, Naftali. Repeat it as verbatim.
Actually, I'll have to think about it. Okay.
Give him the whole daf. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So now let's go from Musar to hopefully understanding the daf. Yeah.
I missed a very good the blot the other day.
Yes, you did.
But, anyhow, didn't you tell me you had a whole shiloh with this? That a guy had in the bank, but it was from his wife, his first wife. He got divorced. They wanted to use it for the second wife, and it was a big machlokes if they were allowed to, because he did it with the tashmish of the first wife and not for the second wife.
Rings a bell.
Yeah. You told me this. There's a huge machlokes. The Hasidim said better not to waste the zera, and the other one said no, it's worse to use the zera that was in a thought of somebody else because it was his ex-wife.
You're reminding me. That would have been Teretz. You're reminding me, Epis. I have no right. How long ago was this?
I don't know, it was in the summer. You told me
crazy
shit.
It could have been. It could have been.
No, that's years ago. I heard that story years ago from you.
Yeah, you told me you had this crazy shiloh, and I was like, wow, okay. But yeah, you were saying, I forgot. I don't know if it was the Hasidim who said it's better to be Mitzvah Zera again than to use the Zera from a Tashmish with the thought of somebody else.
How am I going to remember that exact story? Now, I have no right. How am I going to remember? I have no idea. I don't know if it's text. I hope it's not a text.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe Icky saved it someplace. Maybe.
Maybe. That's what I tell people. I said, you can ask me any embarrassing shiloh you want. I tell them I have no recollection.
Jacob, most people can look up something like that, like Zera Lamatala, a text message, but you, it's like, you know what I mean? You can't.
No.
You come up.
Hey, Grata, today I got a Zera Lamatala shiloh that would have been, if it would have been yesterday's daf, maybe I could have posted it, but I didn't because it came today. It's 2 days late, so it wasn't pashert enough to be posted. But anyways, yeah. Okay, once I said the shiloh, I might as well say the shiloh. So
I was just gonna say, don't leave us hanging.
It's a common shiloh. It's a common shiloh when they say that it's usher to have relations, because this particular case was a woman who has a history of premature labor. She's pregnant, premature labor. So intercourse can cause it to come on early. So now the shaila is there any other ways to have intercourse on Maven Yoven? With Haitzah Zera, without Haitzah Zera, right? Shalai Kedarka, like the Gemara is saying. Either way. But anyways, that was the shaila. But that's a fairly common shaila. Yeah. Okay, so now back to Nedarim. Yeah, and then we get into, well, the truth is we have a lot of Musar tonight also in the daf. Okay, man, it's fruit flies. No, I'm not in Florida that I'm trying to snap flies over here in the middle of winter.
You sure they're not drain flies?
I don't know what they are. You come over here and check it out.
You got big wings for small wings.
I don't know. I don't know, but I appreciate it. Shabbos, you'll come, you'll see. Anyways, so we left off Chof Beis Amud Aleph, about 7-8 lines down from the top. So we're talking about all these different ways of giving a pesach, which at the end of the day, at the end of the daf, between today's daf, tomorrow's daf, I don't see how you can't be matir every single neder that's out there with all these cases, right? Because yesterday we left off that you asked the guy, if you would have known that when you make a neder, they take out your notebook in Shemayim and they see how meticulous are you with all your mitzvahs, right? So then and you would never make the neder, and the guy said, of course I would never make the neder. So they say, okay, your neder is null and void. Who's not going to say that, right? Okay, so then we continue. So anyway, so then on that, Reb Yanai disagreed and said we would not use that as a pesach. That's too strong. That's too strong a pesach because nobody's going to ever. Meaning maybe the guy would have made the neder anyways. He says, yeah, I'm going to make the neder anyways, even if in Shemayim they take out my papers and they start checking me out. But he wouldn't be. Who's going to ever admit that to a rabbi and say, yeah, I'm tzaddik enough that I can make nedarim? Nobody's ever going to admit that. So maybe that's not a legitimate pesach. All right, okay, so that's one. And then we say, V'loi paskin bahada achranaisa. And then we don't make a pesach out of another case. My pesach Reb Gamliel lahu saba. What pesach did Reb Gamliel give to that older man? Yesh buta. The pasuk says yesh baita kemad kerois cherev u'l'shayin chachamim marpe. There's somebody who baita means to talk like a sword, and the chachamim, the lips of the chachamim, the tongue of the chachamim. Heals, which is, what does that mean? Kolabait, anybody who just shoots off his mouth, which we're teaching as if somebody makes nedarim, it's right to stab him with a sword. But the chachamim get him out of it because they're matir the neder, right? So Rabbi Gamliel, the way he would tell somebody, he says, by the way, when you made this neder, do you realize that the pasuk refers to you as if somebody who deserves to be stabbed? And the guy usually will say, "Oh, I didn't know that." Okay, so he says that's a pesach to get out of making the neder. But
to get the last.
But we're saying basically, yeah. But then we're saying you can't do that because you can't trust that the guy is going to really honestly say that he doesn't care, right? I want to make a neder anyways, even if they stab me. Nobody's going to say that. Fine. And we don't use another pesach. The Tanya Nasan, bama. Somebody who makes a neder is as if he built a bama. And a bama is the, you could have made your own local mizbeach. There were a few times in the history of Klai where bamas were mutter. But then most of the time it's also like nowadays it's also you can't make your own mizbeach in the backyard. So if you make a neder, it's as if you built a bama. And if you keep the neder, then ki'ilu makriv olav korban. It's not only that you built a bama, it's as if you were makriv a korban on it. No, that's bad. You can't bring bamas. You can't. Nowadays.
On that, it's on.
Yeah. So bereisha paskinan on the first one that will use the pesach, meaning we'll go to the guy and say to him, "Hey, do you know that you made a neder that's like building a bama?" And the guy says, "Oh, I didn't know that's so bad." Then we'll let him off. But the seifa, what about the seifa part that it's as if he actually was makriv a korban? Abaya says we will use that as a pesach. If he says, "Oh, I would never have made it had I known that it's as if I'm being makriv a korban on a bama," and Rava says we don't, right? Because again, he's not going to want to admit that he would do it. Fine. Rav Kahana learned it in a little different way. Rav Daf Yomi masni hachi, and Rav Daf Yomi says it this way: we don't use the seifa as a pesach, meaning everybody holds. We don't use the seifa as a meaning. The first version, it's Abai and Rava Machlokes whether we will use the by asking him, do you know that it's like being makriv a korban on a bama? has that say I have a Machlokes Abaye and Rava whether that's a pesach. This lashon is no. Everybody holds that we will not use as a pesach. But Bereisha, in the Reisha, which is making a neder is building a bama, so Abaye or pasken, Rava or loy pasken. And Abaye says you do use it a pesach, Rava says you don't. The Hilchasa, and what's the bottom line? Loy pasken, loy Bereisha, loy Beseifa. We do not make an like this. We don't let anybody be matir or neder with a pesach, not in the Reisha and not in the Seifa.
Is Rikana saying that it's worse to build a bama than to bring a shchutei chutz?
I'm not sure.
How do you understand Rav Kana?
What?
How do you understand Rav Kana? The Reisha Kuli Alma we don't, but the Sefer is Machlokes.
The Ran doesn't explain it the way. The Ran says because you're going to be less likely to be Messiahish from saying the emes and be mischarit be'emes. It has to do with the person being mischarit, being actually mischarit or not mischarit. So by a bama, it's not as big of a deal to be mischarit. It's not as big of an avera, the Ran says. By shutei, it's a much bigger avera. So you're going to lie and say I'm mischarit even though you're not.
Right,
it's
that's what the Rav Kana would say the other way around.
No, he's not saying the other way around. He's saying only by the case. He's saying that we only by this case it will work. L'kuli alma, the other cases for sure usher.
So Rav Yomi says l'kuli alma, the Reisha is usher. The Sefer is a Machlokes. Meaning the Reisha.
No, the opposite.
Rav is the opposite.
I mean Rav Kana, sorry.
Right.
Rav Kana says l'kuli alma, the Reisha is usher.
Correct.
The Sefer
or mutter. No, mutter.
Asur.
Everyone's paschina, according to Rav Kana in the Reisha. Everyone's masking, but the Sefer is more chamer. Question is where the Machlokes is.
Right. And right. Rav Kana, everybody holds the Reisha as a pesach.
Oh, I misread it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Fine. Okay, fine. But the Gemara says the loy paschinon b'hanami the Shmuel, and we also don't use this thing that Shmuel said. The Amar Shmuel, afal pi shemekaymai nikra rasha. Even though you're mekayim your neder, you're still called a rasha. Right? See here what this is again. This fits in with the daf we said the other day that even though if you keep a shvua, right? The Gemara says even if you keep a shvua and then you mess up the shvua and you do tshuva, there's still going to be punishment. So here too, even if the guy does the neder, says a neder, keeps the neder, he's still called a rasha. Why? Because he should have been matir the neder. He should not have kept it, which is shver because there's a mishnah in Avos. No, Gershon, I'm going to ask this one that you're supposed to make nedarim, right? Okay, but that's a whole. It depends why you're making the nedarim. That's basically what it comes out. But either way, he's saying anybody who makes nedarim is called a rasha. Some of micro. What's the pasuk? If you stop from making nedarim, you're not going to have a chet. If chadala, and we have a gzeira shava of chadala. Chadala, the translation of chadala means to stop. Lindor, here it says when you're going to stop making the darim. Buksiv hasam, and it says over there in Iyov, Sham Rishayim Chadlu Roiges. There, meaning in the kaver, that's when the Rishayim are going to stop from making people crazy, right? So just like in one place Chadlu means to stop, so too here, but in the darim it also means to stop, right? Meaning, if you're not going to stop making nedarim, then you're going to be in trouble. It's not, you're a rasha. You make nedarim, you're a rasha. If somebody makes a neder, right, we had this a while ago. You make a neder, like the neder of ksherim, you didn't say anything, because ksherim don't make nedarim. But if you say you're making a neder, like Rishayim, neder. It's a neder ben nazir, ube korban, ube shvuah, right? Because nedarim are made by Rishayim. So you see that the affiliation of nedarim is Rishayim. Tzadikim don't touch nedarim. Okay. So Amar of Shmuel Bar Nachmani.
Does this mean the ksherim don't make a neder as a carbon either?
I don't know.
Because the first
I'm
word
not
is
sure.
the nazir of the carbon by Rishon.
Yeah. Right. No. He's using the terminology of carbon as a neder. I don't think he means that he's making a carbon. I understood it as, you have different terminologies to make a neder. You say, oh, this meat is going to be to me like a carbon would be. So we're saying anybody saying that.
What
a rush. Right.
What about
like
I think there are scenarios where tzaddikim make neder.
Correct.
So how does that work with the Mishnah?
I don't know. I mean, it depends why you're making the neder. If it's a neder to make you, it means, I think what it means, the basic is if you're making the neder to make yourself into a zoriz and keep the mitzvahs better like we had, so then that's one thing. But to make a neder stam that you don't want to eat by your friend's house, so you say, I'm making a neder, I'm not eating by you. So those you shouldn't do. Those for sure you shouldn't do. Right? But to be mazaras yourself, we said that already you could do. You just have to do it properly, I guess, right? I mean, that's the basic way to understand it. Okay, so then Amar Rav Shuba Nachmeni Amar Rav Yonasan, Kol HaKoyes, anybody who gets angry, Kol Mine Gehenim Shalten, by all types of Gehenim are going to rule over him. Right?
I'm in trouble.
Aren't we all? Right? Aren't we all? Now the Ran says, what's a pshat? Because anybody who's bekas, this is in the last thin lines in the Ran. Anybody who's bekas, you end up being a kaifer be'ikr. Right? Because the Gemara brings the Gemara on Shabbos, that somebody breaks his utensils in anger, it's like he's over avodas techavim. Right? So therefore, if you're over avodah zara, that's from the worst isurim. So therefore, you're going to get all these different types of punishments. Right? What did I hear? Well, right. Who was smashing utensils? I don't remember.
When she named Yosef. So the Medrash says, Shosapta Skarpasi. When a thing smashes, he won't blame me anymore. He'll blame his kid.
No, there was somebody who was angry and was smashing things.
I don't think it's smashing.
The cave smashing the idol.
Avram Avinu with the Getchkas.
No, somebody in anger. No, nobody in Chumash.
Moshe Rabbeinu with the Luchas.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of. Maybe that too, but I don't know.
Avram with the idols? Avram with the
we're running
idols?
out of options. What?
Avram with the idols? No,
that's what we thought, but that's a good thing to break the idols. No, there was one where he lost it so much. I can't remember. All right, I'm sorry. If I remember, I need to daven Ma'ariv. If I daven Ma'ariv, I'll remember. In the middle of Shemona Esrei there. But anyways, okay. So I think the pshat is the reason why. Meaning, if anybody gets, why is it avodah zara? You get angry avodah zara. I think the reason is, maybe I saw this someplace also. I don't know, but the reason is because if you're getting angry, that means you're not acknowledging that Hashem didn't want you. You're angry because somebody did something. Well, Hashem wanted it to happen to you. Whatever it is that ticked you off.
Isn't that an Orchos Tzadikim?
Orchos Tzadikim says it v'chlal about bitachon and.
You said that a few times by
Yeah, in the Simcha, in the Shara Simcha, but to get bekas means you're not acknowledging the Rabbi Shalom. So you're over avodah zara, or you're over yourself, which could be out of avodah zara, whichever, right? Anyways, okay. So all types of gehenim are shaylet on you. I lost the place. Remove the kas from your heart and take the bad from your basar. Ve'ein ra elo gehenim, and ra is gehenim. Shenemer kol pol Hashem l'maneo v'gam rasha l'yom ra. Everything Hashem made was for him, and right, and for the Rishayim for the bad day. Right. Not only that, but he's going to have tachtonius. L'chayra means hemorrhoids. Shenemar, which is very interesting. Like what kas has to do with hemorrhoids. I don't have a vart on that one. Shenemar v'nosan Hashem l'cha shom leiv ragos v'kilyan einayim v'davay nefesh. And Hashem is going to give you like a heart that's going to be stressed out, I guess, and the eyes are not going to see, or they're going to be looking for things. But davay nefesh, you're going to have davay nefesh. Ezu davar shemechalas einayim u'madavas nefesh. What causes the eyes to not see and causes the nefesh to have problems? That's tachtonius, right? So because it doesn't go away, it seems. Fine. Then we have this strange story here. Ulla b'miskei la'aradi Yisrael. Ulla, when he was traveling up to Eretz Yisrael, Islavule trained b'nei Chuzai b'hadei. Two people from Chuzai went with him. Kom chad shachtei l'chavrein. One of them got up and shechted his friend. Meaning he literally shechted him. Amalei le'Ulla yas avdi. So this guy told to Ulla, did I do a good thing? Amalei, he said, Ulla said yes. Yes. Uparale beis hashchita. And what you should do is you should open up or hit the beis hashchita. Right? Meaning this is after he slit his throat. So the Ran and the Rashi say that he was afraid. Ulla was afraid for his life. So after this guy killed the one that was traveling with him, Ulla was afraid he's going to kill him next. So when he asked him, did I do a good thing? So he told him yes, and then open up the beis hashchita, right? So which the Ran is a wild Ran here. It says why did Ulla tell him sheyamos maher, so that he would die faster, right? Meaning this guy. So can you bring a raya from there that if somebody's dying anyways, you're allowed to hasten the death, right? Meaning this is the end of life. This is the classic end of life situation, right? So from the Ran is mashma that if a guy's dying anyways, you could do something to make him die faster, right? Isn't that
maybe that's all? Maybe that's only because he was afraid he'd get killed himself. Maybe in a case where that wasn't so, you couldn't do it.
You're saying that, but you can't save yourself by killing somebody else.
Yeah, but he was already dying. He's just making him die faster.
Okay, so I'm saying, but even so, Chaye Shah, right? Chaye Shah, even 1 minute of life is not doifa, right? So that's what maybe you have to say. Some say that this wasn't pshat, that he was dying. I mean, he was shechted, so he was sort of like mirfarcheses, jumping around, whatever they call it. Yeah.
That was the whole shiloh by the Warsaw Ghetto, Rav Zimba. Are you alive or are you dead men walking?
Right. Okay, but that's a little different because they weren't here.
No, but but I mean, again, that was right. If I remember right on that podcast.
What isn't that the same shiloh with Shalom Milk?
When he jumped and when he fell on the sword.
He could kill himself earlier.
Right. Yeah, they had it. Mefarshim asked that. Yeah.
So I think he said. I think they say it has to do with he would have been tortured. I don't know what the.
Yeah, he would have been tortured. It would have been bad. It would have been a chali. There's all sorts of tirutzim, right? But but from this Ran, I'm saying the Ran is mashma that there is some sort of inyan that you're allowed to let a guy die faster. Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is, that's a diuk to be made from this Ran. Anyway, so that was the story. So
is this what people bring as a raya for end of life decisions?
Why not?
No, I'm saying, is this the Gemara they quote?
It's broad. It's not broad in Halacha L'maisa because the whole thing is complicated, but it certainly is some form of raya, right? That you could do that. Anyway, so when they got to Eretz Yisrael, right? So they came to Rav Yochanan. Amalei Dilma. So Rav Yochanan told them, Dilma chas v'shalom achziki yedei maybe. I'm sorry. Ulla said to Rav Yochanan, maybe then he realized, like, if I told this guy he did a good thing, and I even told him to open up the wound, so then maybe I'm being machzik yedei avera. So Amalei, he said to him, Nafshecha hitzalta, but you were trying to save your own life. Right? So So Katamar Rabbi Yochanan, but Rabbi Yochanan had a different thing he was wondering about. Michti, Hashem lecha sham le ragos, and Hashem will give you a heart. We said that's I don't know exactly how to type it. Baragas, it's like bad or upsetting. That's talking about Bavel, right? And here, this story happened when it was in Eretz Yisrael, meaning these things are not supposed to happen in Eretz Yisrael, right? So what's a pshat that it happened in Eretz Yisrael? That was bothering Rabbi Yochanan. Amrale. So they said to him, Ulla said to him, "Who shaita? When we were traveling, when this happened on Talmud Beis now, loy avrinon Yarden, we did not yet pass over the Yarden." Right. So therefore, it happened outside of Eretz Yisrael. Right. Fine. So So Amar.
Does this Gemara mean that there are situations in which we would answer my chazis the dog sumuk today? We would say yes. There are situations.
Maybe. Yeah, but again, that's what Dr. Korn was saying. That maybe the guy was dying already, anyways. So therefore,
right, my causes would still apply.
Well, that's the question: whether the guy's still considered alive or not. Right. Fine. So yeah, I don't know. So anybody who gets upset, it's even the Shechina is not chashuv opposite him, meaning the Shechina is nothing to him. There's no in all his machshavas, there's no Shechina there, which like fits into what we said before. Meaning if you're bekas, then by definition you're not acknowledging that there's a Hashem that runs the world. Maybe I get upset too much. I don't know. If you forget you're learning and you have lots of tipshus. If you have kas in your how do you call it, your chest, ksilim yanua.
I think you need both for it to come from anger. You only get one.
What do you mean?
It says forget your Torah and it increases in stupidity.
Right.
You don't have to say.
He's saying you're only one. You're not two.
You're saying nice of tipshus?
I don't.
Yeah.
No, Naftali, I talked to you.
That's my mind of tipshus, not yours.
Me too. Shanamar kikas b'chek ksilim yanuach. Kas rests by the foolish. Uksiv uksil yifrosh ivelas. Yifrois, right? Ivelas, and the fool spreads out stupid avlas. Fine. Now, somebody gets angry, then his averis or more than his chus and shanemar ubal chem or rav pesha. Somebody who's angry is full of averis. 2 days ago was Rav David Feinstein's yard site, and somebody sent me a picture of him. You saw this? Probably went around. Dave Winselberg sent it to me. A quote from Rav David Feinstein that said, if you finish learning, you end up being mean to somebody, that means you either didn't learn properly or you learned wrong pshat and all that, because Torah is supposed to make you nice. And if you're not nice, that means go back and learn the sugi again, or go back and learn more, because if the Torah didn't have an effect on you, so then you didn't learn properly. So that's
how long afterwards?
I'm not sure.
I'm saying, you have like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
I don't know.
Probably just pushing it.
Does it time out?
It's a good question. So anyway, that's what you should do. If anybody gets upset at you and your family, say, hey, I got to go learn now. I'm getting upset. I got to learn. And that's it. And then it gets you out of doing anything. Okay. Amar Avada B'Rabbi Chanina. Ilmalei loichatu is a very interesting Gemara. Ilmalei, there's different girsayas here. Loichatu or chatu yisrael. If it wouldn't, meaning I think it's tali in ilmalei with an aleph or a yud. Ilmalei chatu yisrael, or loichatu yisrael, if Klal Yisrael would not have done averis, leinitin le'melech hamishachum shetarah v'sefer Yeshua b'lvad. All they would have had is the Torah and Yeshua. She'erka shel Eretz Yisrael, because that's how the Yeshua is how they gave out Eretz Yisrael. My time, keep it roiv chachma, roiv kas. Because when there's a lot of chachma, there's a lot of anger. Right? Meaning, it seems like it should be the opposite. What it means is that when there's a lot of kas, so then we tick off Hashem, and then Hashem forgives us, but then we learn from our mistakes. Meaning the whole nach, what is the whole nach about? Klal Yisrael botching it and then getting it fixed. That's what it is. But the truth is the Chumash is the same way. The Chumash is the same way. The whole Tanakh is like that. But that's what he's saying. If Klal Yisrael would have behaved themselves and not gotten bekas and not spent half of nach killing each other, right, then there would be no nach. Right? So maybe that's why they don't learn nach in yeshivas. They don't want to be goddess the whole nach. Okay, fine. Now that's it. So that's the kas section of the Gemara. Now we're back to being matir neder. Amar Rav Asi, ain't this talking l'likei Yisrael? If somebody makes a neder to a l'likei Yisrael, which some learn that means a shua, but what it means, the way the Ran says it, it's that it's a very strong neder. To make a neder, it's a neder chomer, who is the lashon of the Rashi actually, right? So he's saying if somebody that's too strong, you cannot. We don't niskaken means we don't go to it. We don't touch it. He made too strong a neder. Chutz, unless he said kainam ishti nanesili, I'm making a neder that my wife to benefit from my wife. Shenignafas kisi shehikzas b'ni, that she stole my wallet and she hit my son. Meaning he thought that that's what happened, so he made a neder that he's not going to benefit her. And then if he finds out that she didn't steal it and she didn't hit him, so therefore he's that one we will be matir the neder. Fine. A woman came from Rav Asi. Amar lo b'may nedart. What kind of neder did you say? So she said, "Belikei Yisrael, I made a neder by the Belikei Yisrael." Amar Allah, inadart b'moihi shehikini ba'alma. Remember we had this a bunch of blot ago. Moihi is a lashon of like Moshe Rabbeinu. If you made a neder using the words moihi, which is a nickname, mizdakinalach, I would have approached this and would have been matir your neder. Hashta the inadart b'moihi, but now you didn't use the lashon moihi. I can't help you. I can't come to help you. Just because, again, using a neder of Belikei Yisrael is too strong. Fine. Rav Kahana iklu lebeir Rav Yosef. Rav Kahana traveled to Rav Yosef's house. Amrlei litoy mar midi. So Rav Yosef said, taste something, eat something. Amrlei loy. He said to him, no. Mari kula loy taim nalach. By the master of everything, I am not going to taste anything. Meaning, and he made a shvua or a neder, whichever it is, that he's not going to taste anything. So Amar Lei, so then Rav Yosef said back to him, Loi mari kula loi tiima. No, he said Loi. No, Amar Lei Loi mari kula loi tiima. I'm not going to give you a taste, right? So Rav Yosef, Rav Kahana said, I'm making a neder, I'm not going to eat from you. And what did Rav Yosef tell him back? And I'm making a neder, you can't eat from me. Right? So what was the point? What do you have to do that for? So I mean, it wasn't like two kids in a playground. I mean, that's not what they were doing. So we understand why Rav Kahana said that he didn't want to eat there. Why did Rav Yosef say it? So Gemara changes. It says, no, this is what he told him. He's saying, no, you're saying you're saying a neder by Mari Kula, by the master of everybody. So because you said such a strong neder, you're talking not allowed to taste, meaning I can't be matir your neder. Right? Meaning you made such a strong neder, there's no way out of it. Yeah, fine. So Amar Rav Amar Nachman Hilchasa. So how do we pasken? Pasken b'charata. You can. This was going back on yesterday's daf. You are allowed to give a guy an opening regretting it, meaning you can try and egg him on to say that, oh, he regrets doing it. And not only that, but if somebody makes a neder for Elokei Yisrael, we will also be matir that neder. Right? So it's interesting that where we have all these Gemaras where the Amoraim wouldn't touch the neder, and then we say no, but we pasken that it's okay, that you can't be matir the neder. Fine. Now we have some more cases.
Didn't we have a Gemara at the end of Ksubas where one of the Amoraim made a shvuah b'Hashem? He said, "Chai Hashem, if this isn't the pshat or something like that."
Yeah. So every once in a while they do that.
Yeah.
So what are you saying?
Well, if you see that they do it, the stomach is cooking, no?
I don't know. Maybe they may. Why? Maybe it's so strong that you're not niskakim.
If ain't niskakim, they would touch it.
I mean, would they say it?
Yeah.
I don't know, because they're not tzaddikim not supposed to do these things anyways.
Right, but for them it was like the same as any other.
I guess I don't know. Anyways, okay. So Mishnah.
Yeah. When did we say shita that you could even be placed in charata? Where was the shita that you could? I thought everyone was masking that you can't do real charata.
We had it as a Machlokes in yesterday's daf.
No, yesterday was only. It wasn't mitzad charata mekanol haba. It was only charata going back from the original. Are we saying charata even mekanol haba? Real charata?
No, not mekanol haba. Only the mafreya. We're only discussing the mafreya. Tomorrow's mekanol haba.
Oh, okay, so we're going back to that charata that you do at Lemafreya.
Yes, I think
okay,
that's why I understand. As much as I think I understand it, that's why I'm understanding it.
Okay.
Yeah, so good. So Mishtabach le Rav the Rav Nachman b'Rav Schorah d'Adam Gadol. Rav praised Rav Nachman, told Rav Nachman that Rav Schorah was an Adam Gadol. So I'm like, so Rav Nachman told Rav, okay, so you have a chashuv guy. So bring him to me when he comes. Savale nidra lemishra. Rav Schorah had a neder that he needed somebody to be matir. Also look at neder Rav Nachman. So he came in front of Rav Nachman. Amarle nedarta adaita dahachi. Did you make a neder about knowing this? Right. Meaning he was saying the Gemara doesn't say what he asked him, but he's sort of giving him a pesach. Would you have made the neder had you known this? Right. So Amalei he says, yes, I still would have made the neder. So he knocked down that pesach. Adaita dahachi in, and he said, Adaita did something else. He said in, yes, meaning he was giving all the wrong answers. So karma is imminent, and this happened a lot of times. Right? Sometimes when people ask a question, so you're looking for a heter, so you say, did it happen this way? And they say, nope, this way, nope, this way, nope. So you're giving all the wrong answers, right? We're not getting anywhere here. We've got to train you how to change that answer. They say, well, I should lie. I said, no, don't lie. I'm just saying you're giving all the wrong answers. So he was giving all the wrong answers. Every opening he gave him, he said, yes, I still would have made it. So Ikman Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman was makbid, meaning he's like, what's with this guy? Right? So Amalei, he told him, Zil lekalech, go home. I can't do anything for you. You can't. Every time I'm trying to be matir your neder, you're saying that you wouldn't. You still would have made it. So Rav Schorah left, and then he was able to make his own pesach. Right? Because why? Rebbe Yomer. So Rebbe says the Mishnah Novus. What's the derech yishara? What's the proper way that a person should take for himself? He should be a wonder or a glory for one who does it. And people will make him, how do you say it? He'll be praised in people's eyes, right? Meaning he should be praised for Hashem. Meaning you want to be a proper person. You want to bring nachas to the Rebbeinu Shalom and nachas to people. And now Rav Nachman is angry at me or makbid on me. I would never have made a neder had I known that I was going to annoy Rav Nachman. So therefore, now I have a pesach. and then he was able to be matir his own neder.
But it has nothing to do with the actual neder itself.
Nothing to do with it. Correct.
So I mean, that's even so much removed. How can it even be pesach?
And didn't we say something similar yesterday?
What?
Didn't we say something like that similar yesterday? Machlokes with the 10 people that it wasn't b'shas the neder. It's not lamafreya. That when you made that neder, it wasn't about that. That didn't happen yet. It was not like you can't say that the pesach. I bet at best that's a charata, like we said yesterday. They're like middle darga.
Is that was yesterday's Gemara where we asked, but that was in the future? You didn't know about it? Was that yesterday?
With the 10 people.
And what do we answer to that?
Well, it's a machlokes. So are we passing like the sheet of that? It's a machlokes. It's a machlokes Amoraim and Tanaim.
It's gonna be later on, right? It's gonna be later on the Masechta. Whether that's considered.
It was yesterday also, right? It was like the Ron explained that it's like a middle darga. It's not a real charata.
Right, but it works. Bottom line is it works.
It works for some. It's machlokes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. It seems like everything is open game here to be to make a pesach. Let's see one more story. Rav Shimon Berebi Havale Nidra Lemishra. Rav Shimon Berebi had a neder to be matir. Also l'kamar the Rabbanon. He came from the Rabbanon. Amri, they said to him, Nadarta daita dahachi, did you make a neder for this? Amar in, he said yes, meaning would you make a neder even if this happened? He said, yes, I would. Daita dahachi, in Kamazim, the same story. He answered yes to everything. But the Rabbanon were so bitstar, they were going back and forth from the sun to the shade and the shade to the sun. Meaning they were deliberating, trying to figure out how they're going to get this guy to have a pesach. Right? So then we have in parentheses. So let's skip the parentheses. So Amar Lei. So he said, Amar Lei, Butnis, Bray da Abba Shol ben Butnis. So he said to him, Mina Darta the Mitzayir Rabbanim Matul Shimshim Shimshim Tula. Would you have made a neder had you known that you would have stressed out the Rabbanon to be walking from the shade to the sun and the sun to the shade? Omar, he said, Lois. He said, I would never have done that. But Shruya, and they matir his neder because he wouldn't have done this, which again, I don't understand because when you make the neder, when he initially made the neder, this is not a situation of, oh, had you known this would have happened. This only happened because he's trying to get out of his neder, right? This is not something he would have anticipated had he kept his neder. It's only because he's trying to get out of his neder, so he's stressed out. And we're still saying that that's enough of a pesach. So basically telling a guy, if you would have known that you would have gone to the rabbis to try and get you out of the neder and you would have stressed out the rabbis, would you have made the neder? And he says, no. And he said, that's enough. Okay.
See, I actually just saw the Ran. The Ran explains it that since it was so shchiach, it's something that you would have thought about originally.
What do you mean? To be matir nedarim?
Yeah. He's saying it's not a noilad. It's not something that happened later. It's something that be'etzem, at the time of the neder, there's a tzad like that. You could find a tzad like that if you would have known then that you would have made somebody angry about it, you wouldn't have made that neder. It's shchiach. That people, these Gavra rabbis would get angry at such things.
Yeah.
He explains it in both stories like that.
Interesting. It's interesting. I hear. All right. Good enough, everybody. Let's say. But again, it's like Akiva.
No, I'm saying it's not a charata. According to what the Ron's saying, this is be'etzem, something that we look at originally. It's like that.
Right.
That you had this side that if I would have known, I wouldn't have made such a neder.
Right, but that's only because he's trying to be matir the neder. Right?
You're saying it only came about, but I don't know if you would have known that the Gavra Rabba would have been extremely annoyed by him that he had to be matir this way, he would never have made the neder.
Well, I would never make the neder if I was going to try and be matir the neder also, right? Right? Why would I make a neder?
But I think that's not enough. It has to be that somebody, he would have made the neder. The point is he himself would have made the neder. But if he would have realized his meisim would affect other people like that, he wouldn't have made the neder.
Yeah, but his meisim are only affecting other people because he's trying to be matir his neder. If he stayed
and
home,
he had no other pesach. So if he would have realized that he would have put some, Nachman in such a position, he wouldn't have made such a neder. Mitzad himself, he would have. But inside other people, he wouldn't have.
I hear. I don't know. I hear, but it doesn't sit right with me. But okay, I don't know.
Are you learning that this Pesach business is as charata?
It's not. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's charata.
No,
it's not.
Well, he wouldn't have done it.
It's a form of charata, isn't it?
It's not. The Ran seems to be learning clear that they're two separate inyanim completely.
He wouldn't have done it al charata.
Is it why I had to be matir neder to use the mikvah, use the eruv? Because I wasn't samech on the eruv when I lived here, but I'd be matir neder when I moved to South Bend because my wife and my kids needed the help.
You were matir neder, or should you be matir neder?
They kind of told me I should, and I just kind of went with it because, like, what's it gonna hurt?
Yeah, why not?
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a similar case?
Yeah, but this is different because you never made a neder. This was just a nice, what do you call it? On haga toiva.
I don't know what I did. I've been with him for 18 years. What do I know? You know.
That's how the Ran is learning Rav Schorah. Ran is learning Rav Schorah that he was mikabel tainus and he wanted to be matir that. So he wasn't mischaret because he didn't want the schar of the tainus that he did until now to be.
So I didn't use the eruv. I said very.
Then he goes out of town. He goes out of town. You know, he goes out of town. You know, like it says, you want to do a chet, you put on black and you move on out of town. So that's what Simon did.
Yeah. I put on more colors.
What? Wasn't that the old? Oh, I thought you meant something else.
That too.
The people who keep the 3 Yisraels in town.
Huh?
The people who keep the 3 Yisraels only when they're home.
What's
Special Yisrael, Pas Yisrael, and Bas Yisrael.
Bas Yisrael. Very good. Yeah.
Didn't you move out of town too?
Cleveland doesn't have a dinner out of town.
Where?
Cleveland. They think they're in town. Everybody else is out of town.
No, I came to be out of town.
Yeah, you didn't go far enough.
That's maybe true.